invite you and see if that works. I've now invited you. Has that? Oh, yay!
It's just,
Right.
you know, when you just keep pressing all the buttons, but you can't quite work out if it's actually done it or not.
I was starting to panic then. I was like, no, what's
Oh,
happening?
bless you, bless you, bless you. Oh, look at us. We got the memo today about the
I
colour,
was
right?
going to say, we're actually, yay, amazing. Okay, right, okay, let's crack on then. Okay, so anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Sharon. I'm the Cancer Mum cheerleader. I was diagnosed with cancer 4 years ago. And after surviving that, I then want to help other mums who have cancer or going through cancer. And so I decided to bring out Unbreakable Voices, which is a series where I'm able to help other mums and women share their stories. So today we have the amazing Vanessa, who I met about a month ago at a networking event, and you're just one of those people who's just like, oh, so much love. Um, and when I told Vanessa about my series, she was happy to come on and share her story. So let's get going. So, Vanessa, if you tell me a bit about yourself and what life looked like before your cancer diagnosis.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Sharon. And well done, if I may say so, for doing this, because this
Mhm.
needs to be a space, right? Because cancer affects so many of us. And if we don't share, we can't learn
Mhm.
as much, right? So thank you for this space. Um, a bit about myself. Well, thank you for your comments. I really appreciate that because it's a daily choice for me to show up in love. I have my belief system. I understand in my own way how the world works. And I personally just want to show up in life as loving as possible and as open as possible because hurt people hurt people.
Mhm.
And my work, particularly with around emotions and how we can show up in love, I'm just so passionate about. It's my real mission in life. But it didn't always start that way. My old line of work was cosmetics. I was a beauty therapist and a skincare specialist, TV and film makeup artist. And life before 2006 was pretty good. I come from two amazing parents. My sister is my best friend. Um, we had a beautiful, loving family, but I really didn't feel like I fitted in. I think this is probably most people's story. I kind of felt like I was a bit of an outsider. I was quite quiet, quite shy, but I was always quite healthy. I loved my sports, and health has always been really, really important to me. And then late 20s, I kind of experienced a few traumatic events, and I really started to believe that there was something wrong with me. And I just found myself in a place where I was just going down and down and down and down and down in my confidence, particularly, and would struggle with what probably I didn't realize then was depression. I was particularly shy, didn't know how to stand up for myself, and would suppress and internalize my own frustration and anger because I just wanted to experience that kind of love, joy, happy. I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of person, but it just became more and more hard work. And that really was my life before 2006. I was married early 20s, and I became a mum at 26.
Mhm.
And my children were young, really young. In 2006, they were probably, or let me think now, they were 2 and 4 in
Right.
2006, 3 and 5, so they were young. Um, but I think now when I look back, I'd really numbed myself out in my life. The stresses of running a business, and I think we can all tick these boxes, right? Stresses of running a business or working, being in a relationship, however lovely it might be, it does come with its own stresses where we naturally are looking after everybody else apart from
Mhm.
ourselves
Mhm.
and being a mum. So on one hand, you could say I was happy and healthy and loving life. And on the other hand, I really realized I was dealing with kind of losing myself as I was trying to manage my life and navigate my life. And my husband at the time was an addict. So there was massive stress on all of our lives as I was just doing my best to support him in all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you Like, so you're going through life, and then how did you find out that you had cancer?
Well, okay, so I don't know if anybody else has had this. I am pretty certain they have, but our intuition is a real gift. And I knew before I wanted to admit that I knew. I had skin cancer, I had melanoma, and I had a mole on my back from when I was a small child that my mum would keep an eye on. She always creamed us up. You can see I'm really fair, very sensitive, very freckly. And she would always cream us up in the sun. So, and when I moved out, she said to me, keep your eye on your back, because I had 2 or 3 moles. And I was training for a long charity walk, like it was a 60k walk. So we needed lots of, and funny enough, it was for breast cancer, the irony. And as I was training out on my own, I could feel my intuition coming from above and from within me going, get your back checked, get your back checked, get your back checked. And I'm going, no, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. Right. And every morning when I had, because that would be one of the only times I'd have time on my own, as I'm walking around the village at silly o'clock training, get your back checked, get your back. It's like really simple messaging. No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm tingling as I say that. Get your back checked. No, no. And this went on for weeks, right? Weeks. And then one morning I woke up and my neck was stuck like that, like I'd slept funny. I couldn't straighten it. And I rang my mum and I said, can you help me with the school run? Because I can't move. So she helped me with the school run. I rang the osteopathy and I just said, I need an emergency appointment. It was just stuck. And I don't remember feeling uncomfortable. And they said, yep, come in at lunchtime. So I came in. And I'd been to him before, but I wasn't a regular. And I took my top off, and I think his name was Gerhard, and he said to me, I don't like the look of that, get that checked. I mean, God, I've got goosebumps. And then he just clicked me, 5 minutes, off I went. And to this day, I know God gave me that neck. Will you bloody listen? It gave me a crick neck. I'm trying to get your attention. Will you just listen to me? And I went to the doctor's emergency appointment, the 2-week thing, got in touch, and they said, yeah, we don't like the look of it. Got in touch with a specialist. He said, I'm going to have to cut it out. What I'm looking for is a clear ring around your mole. I mean, it was pretty big around your mole, but I don't know how deep it is. That is going to be the problem. So as long as I've got a clear ring around it and underneath it, and I've got clear cells around it, you're fine. And then within 2 weeks, I went in for the surgery, and then he said to me, which I'll never forget, the kids were really small, so I'm standing in the playground, and he said to me, or his assistant said to me, we will call you Friday morning if there's anything for you to be worried about. If you don't hear from us, you're fine. Oh, wow. Right? And we'll be in touch at a later date. So, of course, Wednesday, Thursday, my girlfriends in the playground are going, you okay, have you heard? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And then pick up time, have you heard? No, I haven't. Oh, thank God, well done. I'm so happy for you. In 7:30 at night, he calls me, I'm so sorry, Vanessa. I've had a really busy day, right? And I was like, okay. And my parents and my sister were outside because it was a gorgeous day. So they'd just come round and we were just doing a barbecue. And he said, I'm really sorry to say that it's malignant and that you have skin cancer. And there I was being told that I'll call you if it's okay, if it's not okay. If you don't hear from us, it's fine. So all day I'm like, can you imagine the relief was just like, okay, great. So he's now just going to be in touch and just let me know what the next steps are. And so, yeah, that was 7:30 after I thought I was okay. Being told that, I felt sick. I felt utterly sick because he said, I'm going to have to get you back in and we're going to have to cut more out because I haven't got that clear line around it. And I just went to that place where he said to me, as long as I've got a clear line around it, I'm fine. It's just the depth. That's what we need to worry about. And I was 32 and my children were tiny. My husband was struggling with his own addictions. And I just felt utterly, utterly sick. Just like cold, like you lose all the life and feel like the blood is drained from your body. Because as you said, when we met, when you spoke about it, those 3 words, you just do not want to hear. No. And of course I was beating myself up because I'd left it weeks because I hadn't listened to myself. And yeah, that just was, it was a horrible feeling, absolutely horrible feeling.
I mean, I can't imagine as well, because like you said, you've gone them through the whole day, and as that relief would have just grown as time went by, because you're like, oh, well, everything's fine.
Yeah.
How did you then cope with telling your family and friends?
Well, I think because they thought it was weird that my mobile had rung that night
Mm.
while everybody was there, and we lived in a smallish house, so they were kind of, the garden was kind of right there, and they're standing there because they could hear me saying, "Oh right, oh hi, Mr. Ratnaville, okay, oh thank you, okay, oh okay, oh," and so of course they all came in,
Mm.
and um, they could see by my face that the news wasn't good, and we walked out. I walked out into the garden, and I said to them, "Okay, so I've heard from him. He hasn't got it all. It is malignant. It is melanoma. He's got to get me back in." And we're such a close family, and I know that you've spoken to my sister because she has her own journey, but my mum and my sister just looked utterly shocked and just cried. And my dad is, he's so beautifully stoic and strong in a very compassionate way. And he just put his arms around me and, oh, listen, he just said, "It's okay. We've all got this."
Mm.
And he looked at my mum and my sister and he said, "Tears are wonderful, but Vanessa needs us to be strong right now,"
Mm.
especially because of what I was living through with my husband. We'd had about 3, 4 years of him really struggling with his addiction. So life was at that point, you could say it was an utter low point in my life.
Yeah.
Um, so, but and because my dad's brought us up like he has, and my mum's so thoughtful and caring and compassionate. My dad's very, come on, we can do this kind of attitude. Together, blended as a family, and because we were so loving and strong as a family, I knew everything would be okay. But I naturally, I naturally lent into dad's way of being, which was, yeah, come on, right, let's go,
Yeah.
rather than falling apart into a crippling mess. And actually thinking about it, I'm actually quite grateful for the state of my life and being a young mum, because you're in that process of just get on with it, really.
Mm.
You haven't got time or the space to go, oh, but your initial thoughts are, fuck, I'm going to die. Like, because that's back then, nearly 20 years ago, not many people survived from cancer.
Mm.
So yeah, and I didn't need to tell the kids. They were too young. It wasn't necessary. And my journey didn't progress like many journeys did at all.
Yeah.
But so there wasn't any need to tell the children. But yeah, I kind of naturally went into that place of, right, okay, what needs to happen here? And the interesting thing is I just refound my faith. I believe in a higher power. I had started going to a new Baptist church, and one of the things that the pastor there had taught us was about letting things go. And I remember that night, my husband had gone to bed, my mum and dad and sister had gone home. Obviously, the kids were in bed, and we had a fireplace. And I remember just needing to take that time on my own, because you can have all the support around you, right, from loved ones. But
Mm.
when everybody goes home or everybody else is asleep, you're the only one with you 24/7, 365.
You're in your own thoughts then.
Massively so.
Mm.
And I just took some time out to really, now I see it back, because I'd numbed myself out so much. So there's no coincidence here that skin cancer is what I was given.
Mm.
Because what do we do with our skin, right? We feel. And I'd learnt to numb myself out to be able to deal with what was going on in my life. So that was a very interesting place to get to, as I parked myself in front of the fireplace. And I just said to myself, I need to let go of this, like, over to you. That, what do you want me to do? Because I know how to be well, I know how to be healthy, but this is out of my
Yeah.
control, right? I'll look after myself as best I can. And I remember reaching back onto my back where it was, and it effectively imaginative grabbing it, and I put it up the chimney and I gave it away. I said, "Over to you, because tell me how you want me to look after myself because I don't want to die. My kids are too small and I don't want to go this way. And that was initially kind of how I dealt with the first few hours and days, if you like, was until I was due to go back in and get it cut out.
Yeah. Carly's just put, would you be more like your mum or your dad if you needed to support someone close to you?
Thanks, Carly. If it's not a cop out, I'd actually say both. Those who have come to know me, and especially in my line of work, they know I'm a bit of a toughie, and I don't kind of stand for waffle and bullshit. And stories, purely because I've been there and I have played the victim so well in my life. I've won Oscars for being a victim, but being a victim is so disempowering. You're not taking responsibility for your life when you are in victim mode. So, especially when I work with people, but particularly if I've got somebody in my life that's really struggling, I ask them, which hat do you want me to wear? Do you want me to wear my coaching hat, or do you want me to wear my woman hat,
Yeah.
my human being? And now, so therefore, it will be very much like, right, okay, let's get clear here. No bullshit, no victim. How do we take responsibility? How do you own this? How do you empower yourself? And I do that in a very loving way. I do that in a loving way first because I've learned how to choose myself. So I learn how to receive that love from that power, learn how to help it expand my heart. And then also it helps me then hold a space for other people who are struggling, who feel that kind of disconnect with either a dis-ease or a disconnect, or they're lost or confused or angry, whatever it might be, whatever they're struggling with. We struggle because of a disconnect. And this has all been my understanding throughout this journey, my journey with addiction with my husband, and my own breakdowns, if you like. So I hold the space very lovingly. So you feel the love from me, the compassion, and the way I see you, which is in that true beauty place, because there's no pain in that present place. But you will also get a bit of a kind of, like a bit of a nudge and a kick up the backside. And I'd like to think that's my style, and that's the way that I've learned to be. But I read situations better, and I will listen better.
How did you, because like you say about like staying strong, but how did you sort of like feel that really sort of like impacted you then when you were going through your cancer journey?
It's a really good question. I don't think I did realize how I felt, how it impacted me. I think I just became thoroughly determined. I just remember, I just remember kind of thinking that I didn't want it to beat me. I didn't want to be one of those statistics. But I will just say I was back into hospital within 2 weeks, and I had it cut out again. So I had a bigger wound on my back, and this time they were happy they'd got it all. So therefore, I didn't need to go down the whole kind of traditional treatment route, and the relief of that was massive. What I did have to do was obviously be very careful, because your skin is your biggest organ on your body, and he didn't like the way a lot of my moles looked, so I was under surveillance for 2 months.
Okay.
So I do believe I was let off lightly. Whenever there is cancer journey, talk of cancer journeys, I don't tend to put my hand up, but it's only been my loved ones that say, yeah, you've heard those words, you've got cancer, you've heard, you've lived in that limbo place for a long time, you've even felt it yourself, and you didn't do anything about it. This is quite common for a lot of people. And my dear girlfriend, who did lose her life through mouth cancer, didn't listen to her intuition. When she did, and she went to go and talk to people, because she had an ulcer on her tongue, the dentist would send her away and say it's just an ulcer, until it was unrecognizable, and she had to have half her tongue cut out. And sadly, she did actually pass away within 8 months. But it is, and so therefore my ego is telling me I feel a bit of a fraud showing up on speaking about it. But at the same time, I want to own that place because I do believe I have something valuable to offer about not listening to your intuition.
Yeah.
And now it's become my life's work, not listening to your intuition and the damaging and destructive and detrimental effects of not listening to your intuition, because you know best. And that part of you is attached to the part, the energy, whatever you want to call that. I call it in my work, I call it the power of love, but universal force, infinite intelligence, God, Fred, electricity, it doesn't really matter. That part of you is attached to that, in alignment with that, connected to that. So if you need to know anything, you just got to learn how to go here. And it was screaming at me, that voice, and I didn't listen. I was too frightened to listen to it. Thankfully, I think, you know, that crick neck, maybe it might have been a different story if I didn't get my crick neck, I don't know, which is why it's so important to speak up about it and teach people how to listen to themselves, because you know your body better than anyone. And I know for a fact that if Charlie had listened to herself earlier, then she might still be here. If she was a lot more forceful, she might still be here. Who knows? But to go back to your question, I didn't have an awful lot of time, like many other cancer journeys, where it takes over their life, where I could say I felt that it was this, that, or the other. I was completely numb, but I do know one thing: it was my wake-up call. And I went to my nutritionist. She was one of the first people I went to, and I said to her, I don't want to die, I don't want to be ill, and I have got every possibility and every chance that this could come back. So I want to eat myself well. So she took me through a program which was absolutely fascinating. And I think through it all, and because I was still living through my situation at home until 2008 hit an ultimate rock bottom, and then 2014 we walked away from our life. We're now the very best of friends. He's clean and dry, and that is the best part of the story. But for a few years, it was definitely a bit of a scare, and that, you know, I just covered myself. I did everything I possibly could. I covered myself in SPF. I ate well. I looked after myself. I really started to unnumb myself, because I really believed that I was given this wake up call, cancer shock, to wake me up, without a shadow of a doubt.
Absolutely. And I mean, so when you went through it, your kids were young, so you didn't tell them. But what age then did you tell your children, and how did you?
I think probably it wasn't until a lot later, because when we finally kind of broke down as a family in 2008, they were still 7 and 5, so they were still quite long. So there was an awful lot of other shit going on, that was effectively more important and more relevant. I won't diss myself down there. More relevant to where we were at the time. And then it just became a journey of just everybody being well. I don't think I probably really told them, or they knew much about it, until they were in their early teens. However, the way I creamed them up, the way I would feed them, the way I would look after them, the way I would make sure that, you know, while I was still responsible for them and they were dependent on me, that they would get the sleep, that I would always invite them to look and listen to themselves. They would see me do it. I was writing a book in 2010, because I'd got to a part in my place in my business where I was leading other women, and I was doing very well in the UK, and they would help me with the messages for my work, because they could, so they would call it my inspirational stuff, right? So they would leave little messages on my pillow. So looking back, I can see that maybe just by looking after myself in a different way, speaking differently, fine-tuning what I ate, how I looked after myself. And after the kids, I had to lose an awful lot of weight as well. So that was noticeable. I think it was about 5 or 6 stone I had to lose after my son. So and then I think it just became a bit of a household thing, because daddy was well, mummy was well, and I think it's just something that they inherited, and that they perhaps borrowed, if you like, from me as they're growing up, like we do with our peers and our caregivers and the people around us. We kind of borrow stuff from people until we work out what our own stuff is. So, but there was only a few people that knew. only a few people that knew, a couple of girlfriends that I was close to, because, and that's one of the things I will say is be really careful who you tell, because there'll be some people that can handle it and some people that can't. There'll be some people that, and I hate to say this, there will be some people that play on it and it will speak to their story where they make it about them. And that's okay. We love everybody, but you do have to protect yourself. And with that going on and the other stuff going on in my life, I was just so fed up of thinking about it and talking about it the whole time that I needed space where nobody knew what I was dealing with. Nobody would say to me, "Oh, how are you doing?" Yet I didn't want that kind of pity stuff going on. And equally, all of this, and I can see she's on here. Hi, my darling Abby. I'm really glad I went through it because it was almost like a bit of a practice run for what Abby was going to go through. And it helped me really understand the power of being very protective of your energy. It's okay to say, sorry, F off, like I've got to look after myself here. My health is really important. I'm responsible for this. I think that's the other thing that we can struggle with as human beings, because we could say, why is this happening to me? And that's fine. We're human. Life can sometimes feel like it's coming at us. Like, why me was a big question I had. Why is this happening to me? But in that inquiry, you do get to fully appreciate that it's all an attitude shift. And I think that's one of the main things I got from this. If you are going to have the attitude that it is happening to you and why me, and it speaks to that part of your story, which was mine, I'm undeserving, I'm unlovable, there's something wrong with me, right? And this is happening to me because of some punishment. Then sadly, that is going to be the trajectory that you go on. And when you align yourself with that narrative and that thought process and that feeling, and you reinfect yourself with the fact that something's wrong with you and that you're bad. This is my story. I'm bad and I'm not good enough. And we all have some version of that story going on. When I align myself with that, I feel utterly crap. Right? And my immune system is weakened. There are tests that I do now in my work. There are tests that prove that your body weakens. So when you are in a state of disconnect and unlovely, as I call it, then you are weak and you can invite this stuff in. And I know that might be challenging for some people to hear. But if there is anything that I want, either my experiences or my what I'm so passionate about, my work to help us realize, is that we don't have to live disempowered in a place of disconnect that can bring on any kind of disease. And if you are challenged by that, good, please look at what I possibly mean by that. And if you want to go down, and I say you, and I'm talking to you and me and everybody that can hear this, if we as individuals want to go down that route, it's going to be unlovely and you will disintegrate. It's as simple as that. However, the other end of the stick is what is that power that is orchestrating everything, that loves me enough to beat my heart and keep me well and sustain my existence? Doesn't it make more sense to align myself with that than it does my own physical understanding that I don't believe I'm good enough or powerful enough to be well? There are stories every single day that remind us that we can overcome anything.
Yeah.
We can overcome anything. And even if cancer takes hold of your body, or any kind of disease takes hold of your body, you can still at least find a peace place in that.
Yeah. I mean, I did a post the other day, and I said about, if you're thinking why me, that was something that I thought, and then I switched my mindset and I was like, well, why not me? Like, and there was like a thought of that, well, I'm not to blame. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. This isn't punishment. And I think when you switch that and you switch that mindset, it then gives you that strength to then, like, okay, I know now it's not my fault that I got it. It's okay. I'm just, like, it happened. Like, and it's just me accepting it.
It's exactly it. It's exactly it. Because here's the option. you either accept it and you feel well empowered, strong, connected, all those lovely words, right? Whatever resonates with you. If you don't accept it, you're giving your power to that thing.
Yeah.
Okay, do with me what you will. And that could be cancer, that could be a person, that could be a situation, anything. If we go, like you said, in that why me place, we're giving it away.
Yeah.
Whereas if we say why not, we're owning it, we're accepting it. And then that just is a whole different ballgame. You literally feel empowered instantly when you can own it. And I think it's working through the process of it, because you can feel empowered and you can own it. And why not me? And actually, and I know she's going to be sharing her story, but she had an amazing attitude about thank you for picking me, because I have this attitude and this mindset that could demonstrate to other people that it doesn't have to rule your life, disintegrate you and kill you. It doesn't have to. And I think accepting the fact that if it does, that's just part of the story. Like Charlie, she said to me before she died, my voice will, and because her thing was, because it was on her tongue, you can't shut me up. She said, my voice will carry on for decades and decades and decades because of the people that have been touched by my story. So my life was not in vain. And
that's why I want to do this, because I want us to, it's still such a taboo subject.
Yeah.
And it affects so many people. Whether or not you have cancer, you definitely know someone who has. And it's just, it just doesn't get talked about. And there's so many different types of cancer out there that people have not even heard of. And it's just getting you to know about it and know your body and listen to your body. And it's, yeah, that's why we need to talk about it.
Ultimately, that's the message, I think, is as young children, we are not pulled to one side, or you're very blessed if you are. We're not pulled to one side and taught how to be still and listen to ourselves and to trust our own inner guidance system. But that is part of the process of living life, as I believe. I believe I chose all of my experiences, and some of them you could argue that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, right? We've all got these. We've all got these. I'm not unique. I'm not special, right? But I am unique and special in the way that I live my life, and this is my life. So I know that might sound contradictory, but the point being is that our lives are given to us, and everything is given to us for a reason. What that reason is, sometimes we do not know. But if we don't fully appreciate that, then it will take charge of you rather than you working in tandem with it, right? And it is all about helping by speaking up and sharing. And I say this often, don't just listen to the words that I speak when I do my trainings or my coaching or my masterclasses or anything. Anytime I speak, don't just listen to the words I speak. Listen to how what is said resonates with you. And I know that some of my beliefs challenge people. Before they were my beliefs, they bloody well challenged me too. What do you mean that I was given this, but that I brought this on myself? Whatever the situation was. So whether you've brought it on yourself or whether you've been given it, accept the fact that it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it will take power over you. If you do, then you're saying, right, now I'm the powerful one. Now I'm partnering with the very power that is going to heal me, because the power that brought you here is the power that will heal you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And so that's why I like to speak up about my particular experience with this. And God forbid if I was ever, in that place again, then I'd like to think that the practice run I've had, living through it with my loved ones, particularly Abby, I'd like to think that anything that came my way, I know how to choose that place within me that goes, right, help me accept. And it's okay if we have a paddy and we have what I call a bit of a shit show. Like, we throw our toys out the pram, or we get upset, and just every so often have those days where we go, right? We're human. We're absolutely human. But part of your humanness is that brilliant part within you, that there is no disease, that energetic part of you, that there is no pain, there's no suffering, there's no struggle in that. And that is the energy that beats your heart. So when it all is a bit unlovely, whether cancer is your journey, has been, is, or will be, or whether it is relationship breakdown or any kind of heartache, anything you're struggling with, bullying, whatever it might be, or is it your own inner demons, right?
Mm.
Your inner demons don't live here, they live here. So
Mm.
this is the work, and that's what I believe is so important. And it's the only thing, the only place to go when you are challenged by disease, particularly,
Yeah.
is the only place to go, because it will be the one thing that carries you through, as well as friends, family, loved ones, support, encouragement, medicine, whatever. I don't negate any of that. But you are the one that is living through it 24/7, 365. And I think that, yes, my upbringing has definitely helped. I think what I was living through before definitely helped me become more robust, I
Mm-hmm.
think is a good word. I'm very tenacious. I'm very determined. I have my days where I fall off and I'll have that funny 5 minutes, or it used to be maybe 5 months or 5 weeks or 5 days. Now I pride myself in it being a funny 5 minutes, and I just kind of just let it all go. But yeah, it's for me, it's the one place to go, is to learn how to accept. Yeah.
So what would you say that cancer then impacted the most, and the sort of like, do you feel that it changed you at all, like as a woman and as a mum?
Uh, it shifted my attitude. It very much shifted my attitude and how I saw life, because in that moment, there's probably about 4, 5, 6 weeks where it was like, haven't I got, like, will I die, won't I, limbo-y place, as I call it. It helps you appreciate life. Why is it that the shit bits help you
I
appreciate what is already
know.
there, right? That's again just something that is just the way the world works. It helped me appreciate life. It helped me appreciate everyone in my life and the good bits in my life, my beautiful children. I think being a mum was really important because it gave me something and someone else to live for. Not that I didn't have two beautiful parents, a beautiful sister, a husband, friends, etc. But when your children come through you, you have a huge responsibility to stay well, to be strong, to lead by example. One of the things that really got me going was, they are not going to see me be defeated by this.
Yeah.
They can see me get upset. They can see me get cross. They can see me struggle and like have my moments, but I will not let them, and I will do it gracefully and with determination. And I'd like to think that that's what I did, whatever I was living through in my life. So I think what it has impacted is my attitude, my appreciation muscle got a lot stronger.
Yeah.
And I think it just really helped me appreciate that my relationships are super important, and the power of wellness. I even said to myself this morning, Alan and I run around the garden at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I've got my own strength and conditioning routine I've got going on at the moment, because my menopause is really trying to do its best to defeat me. And I've been having cold showers the last couple of days as a result of a different conversation, and I'm feeling really vital within myself. And as I walked out the bedroom down into the house, I was like, you know what? When I feel really good, I could do anything. When I feel really good, when I feel well, I'm confident. When I feel well, insults don't touch me. When I feel well and I'm triggered, I'm like that. Oh, there's a trigger. Brilliant. And I think this is why wellness is, and well-being particularly, and being well, is so important to me. And if I want anyone else to be well, if I want to have any kind of credibility in being in the well-being industry, that has to come from me being well first.
Yeah.
And I often say the proof is in the pudding. I want to be the pudding. I want to be the pudding, and I want to be the proof, because science is the loudest voice. And when you watch people live life well, it's inspiring. If you're pissed off by it, that's a different conversation to have with yourself. Because, there'll be something going on. Because don't we want other people to be well? I want to live in a world where everybody is well and loving, right? And I'm doing everything I can to help be a part of that as we all evolve into a different place. But I think it's definitely helped to impact my attitude, my relationships, and my own well-being, and the importance of well-being.
So then what does life look like for you now then?
Well, it wasn't without its, in the last 20 years, its own ups and downs. Tumultuous is definitely a way to describe my life, my experiences, but actually mainly due to the tumultuosity going on in my life, within me, my own internal turmoil, and learning to regulate my mind and my emotions and my behaviors and my choices has been my greatest work. And every day I do my best to master that. So the last 20 years, has been, that's probably the last bit harsh. Last 20 years has definitely been a journey. The last few years where I feel like I've really got to grips with what's going on, and I never have all my ducks in a row. I don't think it is such a thing at all. I work hard on harmony within myself first and within my life. I want to take that out to the wider world. Life for me now, my parents are well and thriving. They're both still here. My sister, who I know you'll feature, is well and thriving, and for that I am so very grateful. My two beautiful children, my daughter is traveling the world with her passion. She's in 6 musicals. She's just a powerhouse in her own right. At 24, yeah, she's incredible. And my son has got his own challenges, but is an absolute force to be reckoned with. He is the most adorable, at nearly 22, young man. He's inspiring. His friendship groups tell me all the time how much he means to them. And I put a lot of that down to the fact that they are surrounded by beautiful people, strong people, that sometimes you don't know how strong you are until it's the only option you have.
Yeah.
We are a close-knit family. I put down the fact that they have learnt the hard way. I was looked after beautifully by my parents. I do think they did too much for me. And when we started to go through the shit with my kids, I wasn't going to do it for them. There are times and places I overcompensated, absolutely. But now, looking at them in their lives and the fact they're well and they enjoy life and their friendship groups and the vision they have for their own lives, I would like to think it's because I held a space for them to work their own shit out, really. And I've met the love of my life, and I'm getting married next March. I mean, what more could you ask for, right? I'm a happy bunny. I work hard at this every single day because it is my life's work as an emotional health coach, or whatever you want to call it. I just want to help people be well. And if something does come their way, an illness, a diagnosis they don't want, a relationship breakdown, whatever it might be, and they're sideswiped by life, I'd like to think that through doing and knowing about this work, they've got the tools to be able to navigate their life beautifully and with grace. Really, just how do I let go and let it carry me? So life is good. Outside, we're all aware of a shit show that is going on. What can we do about that? Not an awful lot. What can we do about this bit? Everything. And I think if ever you don't know what to do about your life or what's going on, come home. I say that a lot. If ever you're in doubt, come home. And then you will find that life carries you when you allow it, and you can get out of your own way and learn how to tap into that. And it's some days it's a challenge. Some days it's a challenge. I'm definitely feeling stretched right now. I'm feeling the contrast of life. I'm feeling the call massively to level up and be out of my comfort zone. Do I like it? No, not really. Do I know I'll benefit from it? Yes. Am I happy to face it head on? Absolutely. And if anything does come my way disease wise, then I'd like to think that I've got, that relationship with myself, that I can navigate anything. I know how to go there, and it's just a choice to go there.
So lastly, if somebody is listening or watching and they're in their thick of their cancer battle, what would you say to them?
I think the first thing is learn how to be still and learn how to connect with that power within you that I say is the power of love beating your heart. I think learn how to be selfish and because the reason I say it in inverted commas is because it's not selfish.
No.
It's learning how to be centered in self. Learn how to look after you, and to do that, you've got to know who you are. You've got to be okay with going there. And I'd like to think if somebody is in the thickness of their own cancer battle, then you have got everything you need going on in your life as an invitation to do this, because it will empower you. It is going to take practice. It's a practice you need to practice for sure. There is love, support, and encouragement around you. Reach out for help as you learn how to support yourself better. But I think if you asked anybody who was in the thick of treatment, at least I know all the people I know that have been in the thick of treatment, they'll always say that learning how to listen to yourself, connect yourself, and be okay with yourself is the one place that they would go to any time and realize it was the most massive help.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
It's sort of going within and then sort of just starting from there, and it's accepting. You have to accept it. You can't fight it if you don't accept it.
Exactly. But the irony in that is by not fighting it and accepting it, it's fought for you. Because does that make sense? Because I say it a lot as well, the only way out is in. And if ever there is any battle going on within you or around in your life, the only way out of that scenario is to learn how to access that point within you. The problem is with that is a lot of us don't want to go there because it does take great courage. But if you are living through something that is consuming your time, your energy, your thought process, like a cancer diagnosis, like treatment, then I remember Abby saying she didn't have a choice. So the choice she made was to choose herself. And that's the only thing I would encourage people to do, is to learn how to do that. Learn how to do that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You are just, oh, I love you.
My
You're just
lovely.
great.
Oh,
You're just great.
you're holding such a wonderful space for people, and especially because of what you've been through, you get to share. So people are inspired by that. You know, you are the scientific evidence. You are that scientific proof that us as human beings need, that you can live through it, you can work through it, and you can be healthy on the other side of it. Keep going, because it affects everybody around you. So it's important that you're the strong one, so that other people around you get the invitation to be strong too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. Like, your story was, I knew it was going to be good, and you're amazing, and I absolutely adore you. And yeah, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Bless you.
But have a lovely day.
And you, sweetheart. May you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Yeah. God bless.
And thank you to everybody else for joining, and thank you for Abby and Carly and everyone else. But have a lovely Wednesday, everyone. Thank
God bless
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.